Hi, today I am going to talk about complaint handling and service recovery. And what are the important aspects that we are going to discuss today in this topic is that what are service failure? Why do people make complaint? What are the different types of complainers? What are the different service recovery process and strategies? My dear student, if you see that service failure is the scenario when service delivery goes below the customer expectation that directly or indirectly lead to customer dissatisfaction. It means whenever the customer is dissatisfied with the services that he is receiving, he tends to rate that this is a case of a service failure. And it is very, very essential for a service marketer to handle this complaint, handle the service failure. And in case there is a failure, then they have to quickly take action in order to recover the service failure. In the word of Theodore Levitt, it says that one of the surest signs of a bad or declining relationship is the absence of complaints from the customer. Nobody is ever that satisfied, especially over an extended period of a time. See, here it is very important to understand that why it is so that if your customer are not complaining, it means that their relationship is declining. It is so because a satisfaction is generally a trajectory in nature. And for every transaction, customer are going to rate it whether they are satisfied, they are dissatisfied, it is a good quality, bad quality, or exceptionally excellent quality. Fine. So this is there is a relationship between quality and the satisfaction. So if they are having a long-term relationship, so it will always there is just some scope that you will fall short of your promises. You are not going to up to their expectation. And if they are complaining, if they are complaining, it means they are giving you opportunity to improve. They are giving you chance to improve your services, to improve their service experiences. And suppose if they are not doing or they are not making any sort of complaint, it means they want to switch from you, they want to leave you. Therefore, it is very important that you should always encourage complaint from your customer and try to resolve it. Now, what is complaint handling? The question comes that why do people complain? So people complain just because the service they have received is below their zone of tolerance. As far as the customer is ready to tolerate, then they are not going to make a complaint. They will accept the services. If you see the diagram here, so there is a some sort of desired service, then there is an educate service. Anything that you as a service provider providing above the desired level, which is higher side on higher side, then this will lead to customer delight. In anything that is beyond the educate one, which is towards the low side, it is unacceptable by the customer. And anything below the educate level will always cause customer complaint. Now it is the time whether the customer is making complaint or not. But if the customer is unhappy, if something is beyond the educate level, it means the customer is not going to accept it. Now it is a time when you have to take action. You have to take action whether it is a customer who make complaint or not. You are fortunate enough. It is your good chance that if they are complaining, then they are triggering. There is something wrong going on. This will help you to improve your services and might be you are not lose your business. If your customer are not ready to make any complaint, even if your service go beyond the educate level, it means you are in real trouble. You are in real trouble. So anything between the desire and adequate is known as the zone of tolerance. If you will keep swinging between desire to educate, your customer will be satisfied. They are not going to make complaint. Fine. What are the major issues and complaints? It is the job of the organization is to create and maintain its customer. It's very, very important. It is very easy to lose customer, but very difficult and expensive to get new customer. Therefore, in services particular, it is said that the customer is the God. You have to be very, very much focused about it. You have to focus on their complaint and providing the good services. Distinctive service characteristic like real-time performance, because services is simultaneously produced and consume real-time performance. Customers are involved because they are co-creator, and people, the employee as a part of process, greatly increase the chance of service failure. Now the question comes into the mind why we are very much cautious about the service failure. Why not we are talking about the failure in a general term, be it as a product? No, why? Because service has a very distinct characteristic. The distinct characteristic, it is a totally intangible. You cannot conserve it for a longer period of a time. So there is a problem of perishability. It is a it cannot be produced consistently over a period of a time. There is a problem of consistency. There is a heterogeneity in the services. So these are the characteristics that itself make a service more prone to the complaint. And services are usually performed only on real time. So any time a customer is going to face any challenges on a real time performance, then they tend to consider there is a service failure. Moreover, custom in services is not solely depend on the service provider, because if the services has require a low involvement, moderate involvement, high involvement of customer, ranging from low to high, the kind of services that you are going to produce also depend on the customer involvement. If your customer is not involving as per the specified role, then you are not able to produce the kind of quality services that you intend to do so. And the kind of people you are having for your service delivery, service production, it's really, really conditions where you will face there is a lot of challenges when you talk about producing a good service quality, and this leads to higher chance of service failure. How well a firm handle complaint and resolve problem may determine whether it's build customer loyalty or watches former customer take their business elsewhere. So now, in services, whether your customer is going to be loyal or whether your customer is going to switch, it it depends on it depends on how well you are handling the customer complaint, how well you are resolving it. Point. So this is very, very important that you have to be very, very much particular about it. Whenever you have any sort of customer complaint, quickly resolve it to your best. Otherwise otherwise what will happen, we are not able to retain our customer, we will not have a customer loyalty, and what will happen, our customer will switch to the next services provider. Fine, that is how. Now the question comes, suppose as a service provider you fall short of your services in even now and then what is it that trigger customer to make a complaint? In this section we will understand what are the various things that why people complain. Right? So there are certain regions that out of this research we have found that through various scholars have, the number one reason why they make complaint to get compensation. It is a general fact that whenever you are going to uh, complain them, whenever you are raising complaint, so in order to pacify you, in order to resolve your customer complaint, the general practice that they give compensation. Fine. So once you get compensation, then you are not going to raise your complaint further. So it's this is the way they make the complaint. The second is to vent out their anger. Now, if you see what is common in more the people is that they have their own frustration, they have some own challenges of their life, and they are not able to vent their anger out. So sometime whenever they get opportunity, it is uh, giving them the scope to vent out their anger, and they let go all their anger on the complaint. The third is a very constructive one. It is to help to improve the services. Or it is a genuine complaint, a kind of a genuine complaint. The intention is very pure here, that the customer do feel that yes, you are doing your services well, and number of time might be you fail some by because of one or the other reason, but here as a customer I feel that there are certain scope where you can work upon, you can improve your service, so kindly consider my complaint so that you can improve. And the other reason is that for altruistic region, it is the want to spare other from experience the same problem. Fine. Again, it comes from the people. Suppose as a customer, you have suffered some failure, you have suffered from some losses out of this service failure, but you don't want other to suffer. Then what you do? You raise your voice so that the other people can be spared of. Fine. So therefore, there is a other way. So if you will see this, why do customer complain? It can be classified as to get compensation. So there is a people who try to get compensation. Some of them want to vent out their anger. Some want help the customer. Some customer want service provider to improve their services, and some people want other not to be get affected. So spare them from the same experience. From these type of complaint, if you see, you can make the type of complainer. There is a passive complainer, there are voicer, there are irates, and then there is a activist. So if we are talking about the passives, so these customers doubt the capacity of service provided in addressing the issue, and thus are lead interesting in presenting their complaint. They believe offering their viewpoint would be wastage of their time and effort, though passives are not very harmful for organization, but at the same time, providers should not forget that complaints are sometimes goods for health of their business. So passive are those who have experienced the service failure, but they never ever make complaint because they think that it is futile to raise the complaint because nobody is going to redress their problem. So there is no point of making the complaint. But there are a voicer. They are the active player in the market, and they believe in providing their suggestion for better health of the business as well as being of the customer. They don't shy away from presenting their opinion and also give them second chance the provider to improve upon their mistake. Fine. So this is how. Irates, there is a third category. So they believe in sharing their bad experience with friends and family and switch service provider more often. So quickly change the service provider. They may not take the issue to third party, but their frustration and anger speak louder than their complaint. So they went out their anger. And the last one is the activist. These are the customer likely to complain on all the possible platform. हर जगह जाके वो complain करेंगे. They will spend negative word of mouth. They will post complaint on a social platform and also may report issue to the third party. So these are the type of complainers based on why do people complain. So there are the two set of people. There is a one set of people who never complain. They are the passive. There is another set of a customer who are going to make complaint. They are the active complainer. So again, within the active complainer, they may be voicer, they may be the irates, they may be the activist. Now, what are the advantage of handling the complaints? If you have some complaint in for your services, now you should be thankful to your customer that your customer has given you opportunity to improve. He has given you a second chance. So, and if they are not complaining, so don't take it for granted that they are highly satisfied with your services. Maybe they are the voicer, they are the passive, they don't want to raise any complaint, but whenever they will get chance, they will just switch off or switch out from you. Right? So the advantage of handling complaint is basically it resolve the problem to get positive ramifications. And if you are able to handle customer complaint very well, then what will happen? It is going to increase customer loyalty. And as per the research, 5 out of 6 continues doing business even if their complaint have not been resolved satisfactorily if complaint handler is friendly, enthusiastic, non-defensive, and committed to relationship. See, this is the research findings say. If you attempt to, even if you attempt to handle their complaint, it hardly matters if you are not able to resolve it totally. Still, if you have attempted, you will find that you will get a good customer loyalty. All customers whose problem had solved may not always be happy. It may be the case. It depends on customer to customer. Now the question comes how, what you should do in order to reduce the complaint. The first and foremost thing is that to understand your customer. Once you know your customer, what their needs, their priorities, then accordingly you can create the services. And whenever you are going to create services as per your customers requirement, then you tends to satisfy them. Second, identify your customer. Identify your customer. Who is your customer? Proper customer segmentation has to be done. You should understand from their behavior whether these are the passive or active customers. Try to create a good impression first. Try to create a good impression first. You should impress your customer on a very first delivery of services. Right? Because once you are able to form a good impression, that it will be a more lasting impression. That the fourth one is that address the 5 dimension of service quality, whether it reliability, assurance, tangibility, empathy, and responsiveness. My dear student, we all have seen these topics in length when we are discussing the topic of service quality, servo qual scale. So just address all these 5 major dimensions of service quality, the reliability, assurance, tangibility, empathy, and responsiveness. And always focus on customer delight. Customer delight is providing the services which is beyond the expectation, which is above the expectation, which will have some arousal, have some positive effect and some positive emotion in the mind of a customer, then your customer will be delighted. Some tips are there. Limit the options. Whenever customer have more options, they tend to get more confused. A more confused state of mind will always lead to dissatisfaction. So always give a very limited options to your customer when it comes to selection of services. Make it easy to find the way around the facilities. It is all talking about your physical evidence, your spatial layout, the way you have placed your machineries, your equipments in the facilities, the space that you allow to move, the other interior and the exterior facilities, the other artifacts, the signboards, logos, etc. They play a very important role. Have established sequence for service delivery. You should have a standard process or procedure when it comes to service delivery so that your customer will also be educated. He or she must be aware that this is the way the service is being delivered. So if they know the process, then their tendency to make complaint will get reduced and make it easy to interact with associates. So whenever your customer wants to meet or see the manager, or maybe to attempt to see any higher officials to raise his voice, make it very convenient that he or she should get opportunity to meet the person or the people to whom he want to meet. Because number of time it happens that to whom they want to meet, so that they should feel that they are being heard, are not available. Fine. So these are the things that one must have. Put them at ease. Make them very much comfortable. Even if they come with some complaint, handle them properly. Try to pacify them. So whenever they will be very comfortable, they will be properly taken care of, then there may be that they will understand your opinion, point of view also. Make waiting a pleasure sometime. And more often rather, it happens that people hate waiting. And suppose they have to wait, then always try to make waiting very pleasurable. Uh, you can take the example when you wait in the doctor's clinic. So you will come across number of magazines, newspaper. You can get some sort of information during this waiting period, so you get yourself more entertained. If you are in some restaurant somewhere else, you have some access to internet or wi-fi, you have the television where some sports is being uh, telecasted, so this will make your waiting pleasurable. Train associate to sell. So you should train your for frontline employees to cross sell and upsell. You should anticipate the customer need. It's very important. If you know it, it is the basically the sense and respond. If you are able to sense and respond according to the customer need, they will always feel delighted. Every time try to practice your services, because practice makes men perfect. In a similar fashion, the more you practice your service delivery, it will improve your service performance and know what your customer wants. So it is all about knowing your customer, knowing the need of your customer. Now the question comes, as I have discussed, that there is a four category of a people who make complaints. They are the passives, they are voicer, they are irates, and they are activists. So this is how that what causes, and when there is a service failure, what action customer takes. So whenever there is a service encounter is unsatisfactory, people are not satisfied. So there may be a class of people who are going to take no action. So they are no action means they are a passive. There are another set of people who are going to take some action. Private action. What they are going to do? They are going to defect or switch provider. They are going to change it. Suppose you are a service of Wi-Fi from X company, and suppose you are not satisfied, and suppose you don't feel like that, there is no point of making complaint. Fine. And you are just waiting to get your subscription time over, period over. And once your due date is over, then what you do, you simply switch your provider. Or the second thing what you can do, you become a negative word of mouth. Wherever you go to whomsoever you discuss about this services, you talk to negative things. There is a third class of people who take some public action. And while taking the public action, what are the various options they have? Or what are the different things they do? They make a complaint to service firm. So directly they make the complaint, maybe over the phone, they write email, they send letters, whatever best they can do, they raise their voice. Right? So they are the voicers. There may be a people who will go for the complaint to the third party. They will go to some consumer court, they will go to some different forum, they will go to social media, and they will going to make a complaint there. And the third one is, again, they can take some legal action. They will take you to the court, they will sue you. Fine. So these are the actions that can be taken by the customer. Now this is the TARP model, complaint handling. So this is the complaint handling, how we do. Whenever customer purchase, so there is a two option, there will be no problem, or maybe there is a problem. And what are the instances when they don't face any problem? When you doing the job right the first time, reduce the number of problems. If as a service provider, if you are doing the right job the first time, then what will it leads to no problem. But if you fail to do so, then definitely they will have some problem encounter. If there is no problem, then you can say they are satisfied. So doing the right job first time increase the number of satisfied customer also. Whenever you have a bunch of satisfied customers, so two things will happen. They will again go for repurchase. You will have more revenue, more profit, more customer loyalty. And second thing the satisfied customer will do, they will engage themselves in a positive word of mouth. So they are going to become a positive word of mouth. They will be indirectly become a brand ambassador also. And suppose they have you have failed to do the job for the first time, right? So this there will be some problem. So they will face the problem. This problem will leads to complaint, or maybe they don't complain. So there will be two things will happen. They are not going to complain, or maybe they are going to complain. So if their complaint are effectively handled, they will become satisfied. They will go for repurchase and engage in positive whatever. Suppose they have a problem and you fail to satisfy them, then what will happen? They are not going to repurchase. And moreover, they will engage themselves in a negative word of mouth. Right? So this is what we see from this schematic diagram. So what are the role of doing the right job the first time, how to handle the, what is the role of effective complaint in customer satisfaction, and engaging them in a positive word of mouth, and so on. Handling customer complaints. Now, it's very important then when there is a complaint, then how to do it. You have to act very quickly. In case of any mistake, admit it. Don't be defensive. Show that you understand the problem from customer point of view. Be empathetic. Don't argue with your customer and acknowledge their feeling. In case there is some doubt, so always the benefit of doubt should be given to the customer. Clarify the step needed to solve the problem, because sometimes it happened that you receive a phone call as a complaint from a customer, and they think that this is the way they will get their problem redressed, but no. Suppose this has to become in some particular form, so you have to guide them accordingly. Sir, I am mailing you at this particular form, and you have to submit the duly filled form to this particular address, or mail it to, and then the same thing will be needful will be done within next 3 to 4 working days. And once they have submitted this document to you, you have to acknowledge them immediately that you have received your complaint of this token number or this ticket ID, and so on. And this is how we are be following it. And everything, every follow up should be communicated to them. Anything that is, anything you are take advancement happening in the case should be informed. That is what the keep customer informed of the progress. If you think that it said it is the best way to compensate them and preserve to regain customer goodwill, and try to take all the effort that will help you to retain your customer goodwill. So by this time, students, I think you all are clear what are the reasons of service failure, what is the importance of service failure in services, what are the different types of complainers, what action they can take, and how to resolve it, how to handle the customer's complaint basically. Now, in this section, we are going to understand some models about the TARP model of service recovery, what is service recovery, what are the process that we have to follow, and some strategy. That's it. So, service recovery is generally an umbrella term for systematic effort by the firm to correct a problem following a service failure and retaining customer goodwill. So, as I said, that service failure is very obvious that even if you will put your 100%, there may be some chance that you will fall short of your promises. There may be some cases of service failure. So, you cannot avoid service failure totally. But in case of service failure, this is what you can all do. You have to quickly recover the service failure so that you will retain your customer goodwill. So there is a service systems that we are talking about. Then whenever there is a customer purchases, there is a effective complaint handling. This will increase the loyalty and satisfaction. And how do we do this? This is very important. Then we have to identify the complaint in the case of complaint. And how can we identify service complaint? Through conducting research, through monitoring their complaint, and we have to develop complaint and opportunity culture. We have to encourage our customer also to give them the positive critics rather. They should be critically evaluate your services, and they should give a critical feedback so that you can improve. You should not be very happy with only the positive feedback. You should also appreciate if anybody is giving any negative uh, and constructive feedback. If you have any sort of complaint, then resolve the complaint effectively. And for this, what you have to do, you have to develop effective system and training the complaints handling system. You have to develop the system. You have to train your employees how to develop this system so that they can resolve the complaint very effectively. And the last one is learning from recovery experience. Whenever you have a problem, whenever you have resolved some problem, always try to understand it. Once you understand what are the rules, Then from your learning, you will come to know what is the best way to do the services, to how to deliver the services right, in a right way, so that you have a less and less complaint. Fine. So this will leads to again customer purchase. If you are able to effectively handle the complaint, then there will be increased loyalty and customer satisfaction. Now there is some recovery process that just have a note of it. The what are the process that can be followed? It's the apologize and accept. So whenever your customer come with a complaint, never be defensive. Always accept your mistake and acknowledge on the inconvenience be caused to him. Acceptance and an apology solve 80% of the problem and immediately calm down the customer. So this is the one of the process. The first step, whenever complaint comes to you with some complaint, so always, I'm sorry, sir. I do understand that you have suffered a lot because of this problem. The once you will admit it, once you apologize it, then the person will pacify. Second, listen and empathetic. Not every customer put forward his view, so it is scope for improvement is presented. So therefore, it is very important. You should listen to your customer very carefully and ensure it is not repeated in future. That is empathetic. Third, offer a value added or fair solution to the mistake. That is what is the compensation. Any customer must not be left unattended, should not be left unattended. It is important to understand what customer expect next. It is, if it is unclear, they can be asked directly about the solution they expect from the service provider to fix the mistake. Suppose the customer come with a complaint and you do not know what to offer. Then ask them, sir, can you tell me what can I do for you in order to compensate you? And whatever he is suggesting, now you have to honor it. Or you have to resolve it. You have to give some solution as per your policy. Maybe some there is a refund policy, there may be some discount, maybe some other alternatives. Fine. For example, at a pizza house, delay service can be compensated with a free drink or a free dessert at the end, but the value of X would be dependent on the intensity of the inconvenience being caused to the customer. That you have to decide. Fourth, keep your word and promises. Always try to honor your promises. Never ever be short on your promises. If a customer has been promised a free service as a fix of service failure, he must be given the same the very next time he returns to the service provider without anything, without any charges. If the service failure is compensated as per the promise and well in time, customer feel less dissatisfied and give you another chance to serve. And the last is ensure the mistake is never repeated. It means you have to learn from your recovery experience and always try that you should not have the same complaint again and again. Service provider must consider the fact that only 2% of customer give the second chance. Means if you are not able to manage your customer well, then there is a greater chance that you are going to lose your customer. So that is very, very important. So these are how customer recovery is being uh, compiled here. The respond effectively and efficiently, collect, aggregate, and analyze data to pinpoint the correct root cause of customer problem, make it easy for customer to give feedback, enable effective service recovery. It is a proactive, planned, taught, empowered employee, and should be compensated. So it is very important that you should encourage and track complaint, learn from the recovery experience, learn from the lost complaint customer event, and make a service fail safe. And there's some understanding about the customer response to service failure. What proportion of unhappy customer complain? See, it will be make you very, very clear about why it is very important to handle your customer complaint and resolve their problem, because it says that only 5 to 10% of customers who have been unhappy with the service complaint. It means there are 90 to 95% of customers who are passive, who won't make any complaint but they will switch. Sometime even it is the lower than the 5%. There is the evidence that customer the world over are becoming better informed because of this internet and more assertive about seeking satisfactory outcome for their complaint. So they can go to any platform over. They can go to the third party. They can go to the court even. Why don't unhappy customer complain? Why there is a greater number of people who are a passiver? Some of the region through the research was says that some don't wish to take the time to write a letter to fill out a form, especially if it's a low involvement service. Many see the payoff as uncertain. What they will get as a compensation is not fixed. Many don't know where to go and what to do. Some people are not aware, they are not informed of how to get their problem redressed. Many people feel that complaining is unpleasant. This is their attitude. They feel that if they are complaining, they are not doing some pleasant thing. Complaining behavior can be influenced by role perception and social norms. Maybe you can be influenced by some people that, or who there may be someone who can uh, evoke you to make complaint, etc. In services where customer have low power, they are unable to complain. So these are the some of the reason why customers don't complain. Who is the most likely to complain? Research show that people in the higher socioeconomic level are more likely to complain because they have more financial securities. Now they have good support from the people. Those who complain tend to be more knowledgeable about the service in question because now before making any complaint, they equip themselves, they make themselves more knowledgeable about the product, about the services and their remedies. Customer rises to the effective services. What are the responses of customer to the effective service recovery? So customer who do complain give a firm a chance to correct problem, including some of the firm may not even know it has, because sometimes it also act as that they are the eye opener, which company somehow fail to identify these as a customer failure, and whenever it brings to their notice, now they come to know, oh, this is what is the customer problem that customer is facing. Now this is the some issue that we have to fix upon, restore relationship with the complainer and improve future satisfaction for all. Service recovery effect play a crucial role in achieving and restoring customer satisfaction. If customer face any failure issue and if it is properly redressed quickly to the best of their effort and capability and capacity, obviously the customer satisfied and they will become loyal. The true test of firm commitment to satisfaction and service quality. It is not the advertisement process, but the way they respond when things go wrong. Because in advertisement, everything looks so rosy, everything looks so beautiful and promising. But the real acid test come how well they respond when things go wrong for the customer, how quickly they resolve it. So some of the studies is being cited here that one study of customer switching behavior is service found that 60% of respondents who reported changing supplier did so because of service failure. 25 cited failure in the core service, 90% because of unsatisfactory encounter with some employee, 10% because of the prior service failure. They have prior experience also. And 4% describe there is some unethical behavior on the part of provider. They are not following the ethics. When complaint are satisfactory resolved, the customer is involved are much more likely to remain loyal, which says that around 3 to 37% customer who are dissatisfied but did not complain, but they have intention to repurchase. For major complaint, the retention rate increased from 9 to 19% if customer complained and company offered a systematic year but was unable to resolve the complaint. Even if their problem is not resolved, but they have sympathetically listened their problem, still the retention rate increased up to 19%. But if their complaint are resolved very satisfactorily, then it jumped to 54%. And the highest retention rate was achieved when problem was fixed quickly and it reached up to 82%. Fine. So these are the things. So what all we have learned that what are the region of service failure, why it is very obvious that there may be some greater risk or chance that there will be that service failure, what action can be taken by the customer in case they have some service failure, what are the type of complainer, and what are the role of a service provider in order to handle the complaint, what recovery process they can have, what are the recovery strategy, and we have seen that what are the implications of these uh, service recovery strategies in the company's performance as far as the customer satisfaction and loyalty is concerned. So with this, I'm Dr. Latwal signing off until we meet again.